The 12th Sutra of the Samadhi Pada of the Yoga Darshana is the practical dimension or a suggestion how to stop or how to achieve Chitta Vritti Nirodha. What are the tools, upakaranas, practices? And Patanjali suggests in the 12th Sutra. The sutra goes like this. Abhyasa vairagyabhyam tan nirodha. Abhyasa vairagyabhyam tan nirodha. Very simple. Abhyasa vairagya tan nirodha. Tan, these vrittis. Tat is, that is tat. Vrittis are completely stopped by abhyasa and vairagya. Abhyasa is practice, repetition, repetitive practice, regular repetitive practice. Vairagya is detachment, a disinterestedness. That is vairagya. And nirodha, we know it is a complete stoppage. And that is how the nirodha of the vrittis are to be achieved, can be achieved, and it is the one method given by Maharshi Patanjali. And abhyasa and vairagya both are needed. There is no option in choosing any one. Both are to be opted. Both are to be practiced. So vairagya abhyasa it is. It should not be vairagya from abhyasa. It is abhyasa of the vairagya. And abhyasa and vairagya, both. So what is the abhyasa to be done? The practice is the mind should be made, should be habituated to flow towards Kaivalyam, to flow towards goodness, to flow towards the flow of the mind, is to be made to flow towards desirable things. And that is the abhyasa. And it is nicely said, the practice makes perfection. A traditional example is given that if a water has to flow in one direction, it needs to flow between two banks, and it has to flow in a downward stream. It's very important, because the chitta or the mind can flow in any direction, towards goodness, towards evil, or the not goodness. It can go both ways, both sides. But to make it to flow in one direction, it needs a banks. It needs a downward flow. And that is the importance of abhyasa. A repetitive, regular practice is needed. Adi Shankaracharya, commenting on this, He says beautifully, he says, Samana pratyaya vritti chittasya. Samana pratyaya vritti chittasya. Samana pratyaya, same experience is repeated. Same experience is repeated. That is samana pratyaya vritti, chittasya, of the chitta. This is abhyasa. Swami Vivekananda beautifully tells nicely that character is repeated habits, and repeated habits alone can reform character. I repeat, character is repeated habits, and repeated habits alone can reform character. If habits are formed by abhyasa, that means by abhyasa and by habits we can change the character. We can change the habits by habits alone. So a good habits, good character. Swamiji says, go on doing good, think good, do good. And that is the only way to suppress unholy, evil, base impressions. Impressions means samskaras, kusamskara, dusamskara. That can be changed, removed by susamskaras. And that is possible only by abhyasa, a repeated practice. That is called as abhyasa. And what is vairagyam? Vairagya is desire less. That means absence of hankering for enjoyment of desirable things. There will be demands, ichhas, desires in the mind. And these desires are temptations. These temptations sometimes are seen, visible, expressed. But some temptations may not be, are not seen, unseen temptations within the mind. So seen temptations, unseen temptations, seen desires, unseen desires. But what is vairagya is, these desires, whether seen or not seen, by understanding their defects, and by understanding their defects, that hankering is dropped. Hankering for enjoyment. It's a very important word. Hankering for enjoyment. A thirst, a craving, a crude hunger. And maybe a good hunger. It is raga. Viraga it is. Likes. Intense likes. And that hankering has to be reduced or removed. How it can be done? By abhyasa. That's why abhyasa of vairagya. Vairagya abhyasa. But abhyasa is not to be given up. The same point beautifully in the Sankhya Yoga, the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells to Arjuna wonderfully, when Arjuna puts a question about the difficulty in handling the mind and controlling the mind, Krishna gives a very nice, beautiful example and says that Asamshayam Mahabaho Mano Durnigraham Chalam Abhyasena tu Kaunteya Vairagyena cha Grihyate. Asamshayam Mahabaho. Hey Arjuna, yes, it is very difficult. Asamshayam, no doubt. Mahabaho Mano Durnigraham Chalam. The wavering of the mind, the flow of the mind is very difficult to control. But you can do it by abhyasa and vairagya. By reducing the likes, by thinning down the desirables, and by a regular practice. That nirodha can be achieved. That nirodha sthiti can be achieved. Sarupeva sthanam is possible by abhyasa and vairagya. Then what is abhyasa? And then what is vairagya? What are the subtle points in that? That will be followed in the further next sutras of the same Samadhi Pada that we shall see in coming session. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.